by Mr. Austin Ginnel,
How's it going?
the guitarist for the band HONEYFOOT out of Detroit, Michigan.
What's up, guys?
The first guest on the podcast.
I'm very grateful to be the first guest.
First question I want to ask you is, what made you want to play guitar?
Oh man, I remember very distinctively. It was Thanksgiving in 2017, and we go to my aunt's house, and we were playing the foosball table. Like me, my brother, and a bunch of my other cousins were just around the table, just hanging out, having a good time. So then my brother puts on a song, and I'm like, wow, that's really freaking cool. So I'm like, hey man, what's that song? And he's like, oh, it's For Whom the Bell Tolls from Metallica. I'm like, oh, okay,
Nice.
And then I just like kept listening to that song over and over again, and then I come to find out that James Hetfield, the riffs all over that album and that song are just like monstrous and so earwormy and catchy.
Oh yeah, that's one of the, if not most iconic metal albums in
For
history.
sure. Exactly.
Really taking a lot of different, especially Metallica back then, taking so much risk. I've seen a documentary that said that they were too metal for punk clubs and too punk for metal clubs.
Yeah.
And you really, yeah, that's 100% truth, especially in those first, 3-4 albums they put out was just.
Yeah, I mean, it just really showed you, where they stand that time and just like how different they were.
Exactly. Especially with like, the 80s and the hair metal.
Yep.
And then there's a reason the Big Four is the Big Four, because they stood out from everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but yeah, so it was pretty much Metallica that launched me into trying guitar, playing guitar, learning all those riffs and whatnot, and so I kind of learned the riffs. I was mostly just the starting on rhythm, but it wasn't until I got Guitar Hero Van Halen, because I played Guitar Hero a little bit while I was trying to learn to play guitar as well.
I think we all did.
Yeah, pretty much. And I knew a little bit of Van Halen, but it wasn't until I played Guitar Hero Van Halen that I like had like a big deep dive into their songs. So there are a bunch of songs on that song, or a bunch of songs from that game. But and that's what really got me into lead guitar was Eddie Van Halen.
Okay, that was actually my next question. Like
okay.
What was the progression of it? You go from Ride the Lightning album to Eddie Van Halen, and
yep.
And
it was basically just listen to a lot of the thrash metal of the 80s and the early 90s with a little bit of that 80s rock, 80s and 70s rock compiled in. So that's where like a lot of my main influences come from.
So I got to see HONEYFOOT play for the first time. I've seen a lot of videos, and I've heard a lot of good things from around the Detroit metal scene. But I'll tell you, I was definitely blown away. The videos and what I've heard did not do you guys justice. But watching you play, I could definitely see and hear your style of playing, and a lot of that 80s and thrash influences in your riffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In your solos, and we touched on it in the interview that we did. Was you guys you're bringing almost 4 completely different styles of music together, to create what HONEYFOOT is, and you guys just make it work, and it's great. Yep. It really is.
Pretty much. I think that's what makes our music stand out a little bit more. It's like you were saying, a lot of bands, they all have the same inspirations, the same band, and then, they sound, and then their band sounds, exactly like those other bands, not to be mean or anything, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, and there were so many. So I grew up in the MySpace era of deathcore.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many bands out there that it was literally, it just was the same. It was the same thing on repeat.
Yeah.
The only difference ever changed was like the singer had a different pitch and a different tone. That was like the only thing that ever really changed, because there was so much out there. Because back then everybody was trying to be everybody else. Almost, if you could essentially equivalent it to like kind of like the hair metal scene of the 80s.
Yeah.
Sunset Strip, everybody's trying to sound exactly alike, and it was just like, okay, the ones that had a little bit of a niche were the ones that made it big.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as much as I love 80s rock and, you know, a lot of the thrash metal that comes with that era, it's like there are a lot of bands that just sound like, you know, Skid Row, you know, Winger, Dawkins. And it's just like, okay, I like this, but I would rather be listening, you know, Skid Row, Winger, or Dawkins, you know?
Yeah, and it was to me, it's like you take Rat and Poison, and a few other bands. It's like they all sound the same to me. They weren't like much different. But like back then, you take like Skid Row, to me was different from the regular 80s hair metal, because they went like a tuning between what the big four used and what hair metal was using, and made their own sound, and then boom,
For sure.
get just blowing up like crazy. Because like you could put on an 80s channel and it's like 1 out of every 5 songs are going to sound a little different than the next one.
Yep, and it's like, oof, you know, you gotta try pretty hard to, you know, combat Sebastian Bach with his fucking insane vocals.
Oh yeah, that yeah, like in today's world, in like the MySpace era, you had like Whitechapel, for example, running 3 guitars. You got a lead, a rhythm, and then a dude playing baritone. Like it brought that extra heaviness that helped set them apart from everybody else. And
even just the smallest of differences, you know, it will definitely it'll definitely show that people are drawn to that.
Yeah, and Whitechapel like being one of my favorite bands, but then like you have like Job for a Cowboy that came out, and it was like you took deathcore, you know, their OG deathcore, but it was like almost like speed metal at the same time. It's just fast, in your face, crazy riffs, but then like Whitechapel and Cowboy, Despised Icon, you know, all the OGs that are still around, they evolved over time. They're still who they are. They still have perfected their sound, but they're evolving.
Yep.
Which is, to me, still keeps you at the top of your game.
Of course, yeah. Because, like, you know, I feel like as a band, you know, you should always be evolving in a certain way.
And I agree, because you take every era of music, and it doesn't matter what genre it is. If you just keep pumping out the same album after album after album, you're gonna drop. Like you're gonna watch like your attendance and your sales and everything just go from here, and then the other guys coming right up. It's a vicious cycle. But the way you guys do it in Honeyfoot, I feel and I see big things coming for you guys. The way you guys do it,
Appreciate it.
It's and there's not a lot of 4-piece bands anymore, especially in your guys' style of the groove thrash. You know, like
I would say a lot of the bands that we play with, you know, just in the local, of course, is mostly 5-piece, sometimes even 6-piece with like pre-chordal thump, which those guys fucking rule.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited to see them coming up soon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there's and you guys got the skills too to really be a 4-piece and cover it.
Yeah, and that's,
you know, there's so many
that's
4-pieces out there that are just like because they just almost like they're just not in sync and in groove with each other.
Yeah,
when it comes down to it.
Yeah, no, I feel like all of us, you know, we have that skill that, you know, we've already mastered our instruments. So, you know, we don't or at least for me, I I don't need a second guitar player. Yeah, it
Watching
might be
you play,
nice.
it was really watching you play the other day. It was really cool. You are very controlled with your riffs and very controlled with your being able to keep a rhythm
Yeah, thank
going
you.
as well, which really keeps that 4-piece element
Yeah,
to what it is.
for sure.
The guitar does the riffs, and your bass player Mike and your drummer Connor they are such a good groove section,
I know
a
it's
rhythm section
and
that you
yeah,
don't
I
need
mean,
to
and
have
you
that
would never
extra.
think from the influences and where they come from to to bond so well, but they do. It's me and Hunter talk about it so much. We're like, man, Connor and Mike in the rhythm section. It's like I said, it's a weird combination, but it works so fucking well. And I think that's why it works so well is because it's very different.
Yeah, it was definitely is different, and like I asked you guys a little bit about each one of your inspirations. I'm doing other episodes with the rest of the guys,
Yeah,
but hearing the four completely different inspirations that come into it was like, wow. Like Hunter's his big inspiration was Randy Bly, the Lamb of God, and he definitely he's on the exact vein as Randy, but he's not. He's not
yeah,
trying to be Randy, which is, I think, a downfall of a lot of musicians. They try to be somebody they're not. Like,
yeah.
take what you know and take what somebody else is teaching you and make your own style.
Exactly. Yeah, I
That
mean that's how all the great players and great, singers do it. Really any great musician, they don't try and copy exactly what, their heroes, their icons are doing. They take all these, sometimes big, sometimes small things from their inspiration, make it their own, and that's how you make your own sound, and
yeah,
that's always how it has been.
like on the guitar front, like you have like Zach Wilde, who is just the biggest Randy Rhoads freak ever.
Yeah.
But he never tried to be Randy Rhoads. He made
Yeah.
his own sound and his own thing. And it's like, if you took somebody that wasn't an Ozzy or even a metal fan, and you played like Crazy Train for him, but then you played like the top song that Zach played with Ozzy with, they're not going to be able
Yep.
to tell you the difference.
Probably not. No.
But musicians, metalheads, they're going to know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially Zach, man. I know he gets a lot of flack for his playing style, but man, instantly recognizable guitar player.
Yeah,
Hey, a lot of people might hate him, but you know what? He is instantly recognizable.
and it's crazy because he's got a lot of guest spots on songs
Yep.
just as a guitar player, and it's like you hear the my wife is a big Hardy fan, and
Mm-hmm.
Hardy put out a mixtape kind of thing, and she turned on this song, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, I know that guitar. I do. And then I heard the pinch harmonic, and I was like,
Yep, and you're like,
oh,
yep,
that's the boss
that's
man.
that's that's Zach.
The boss is playing on this song. Like, it was like he's just so distinct. Dimebag.
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh yeah.
loves my favorite band's Whitechapel. I could pick any of those guys out of a lineup as far as knowing their sound
Yeah.
without even seeing their face or anything like that. But that's my band.
Of course.
So my next question for you is: I hear you got a pretty ridiculous guitar collection.
I mean, it's not all here, of course. So here, just behind me, I have the White Explorer, and that's a Gibson 2023 exclusive, an Alpine White. I had
Okay.
to buy it off of a guy off Instagram last year because on Reverb and shit, like like the prices are just insane on that guitar. And
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
I know Epiphone just released their version of the '80s, inspired by Gibson Explorer, which I was fucking waiting. I was waiting for them to do that because it's like you guys are sitting on so much money.
Like an anniversary,
Yeah, Yep, pretty much. And then behind me as well, I've got a green. I don't use it like in our shows or recordings though, but I got green EVH 5150 back there. And then back at home, I have my Les Paul
And that
Custom.
is such an iconic 80s guitar in that neon green.
Yep. No, that's exactly why I picked it out. Because when I first played it, I was like, I don't know about the color, but as I started playing, I was like, yeah, I like the color. It's very flashy. It's very, you can point it out very easily. It brings attention.
When you guys play a show, or what's the difference between like the guitar you select for a show versus the guitar you select like writing a song or doing recordings or anything?
I don't know. It just kind of, sometimes I'll play because the two most guitars that I play are the White Explorer behind me, and then I have an Epiphone Les Paul Custom at home, which I wrote a lot of like our early songs like Self Destroyed, Sam, Rise from the Sludge, Broken Neck on that guitar, and I don't know. It just kind of depends what I'm feeling, and it also depends like what riff I come up with on that guitar. Because there are certain certain guitar riffs and guitar solos that I do on the Explorer. But when I try and create something or work something out of my Les Paul, I'm like, I'm not really feeling it, and vice versa, of course.
Okay, now here's a question. This is like an Explorer specific question. I was at Guitar Center one time, and they had 3 white Explorers hanging on the wall, and I went up to them, and I'm like, "Oh, kind of weird. They put out like 3 of the same one. Like usually they just keep it in the back, the extra ones. But one was just the standard Gibson Explorer. One was the James Hetfield signature one.
Yeah, the ESP one.
And then the other one was the Billy Gibbs from ZZ Top's signature model.
Okay. I'm just trying to think how that one looks.
It was so well, in a nutshell, I played all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is just me how I feel about it. Like,
yeah,
if I was gonna go buy one, I definitely myself personally would not buy the James Hetfield or the Billy Gibbs.
no,
I would go with the standard, but like playing a Metallica song on the James Hetfield one just felt so easy. But then you tried to play it on the Billy Gibbs one, and it was just you couldn't do it because obviously it's ZZ Top and being the blues, and I'm like,
yeah, you have that mind block in there.
Yeah, but it was also really the first time I felt the difference in because it's a signature model. Like if he really needed it, he could walk into that Guitar Center and grab it and be able to start playing it right away. Like no setup, no custom. He could just grab it and go. That was the first time I ever really felt the difference in having your own custom setup. Was it's the exact same guitar.
Yep.
Like in retrospect, it's the exact same guitar. The string gauge is probably going to be a little different, but it's the same guitar. But no, they played completely differently.
Yeah, it's very minimal things that just feel very different on those.
The slightest thing, like just string tension, from metal to blues, that bluesy rock that ZZ Top does is just, oh my god! Like Billy Gibbs is just his guitar. It did the strumming and the easy picking was so smooth and so clean. But trying to do the same notes on the James Hetfield version was like, my fingers hurt. Why do my fingers hurt?
Yeah. It's James isn't really that much of a lead player, so he needs a lot more tightness than than the I don't know what the word is. Yeah, I think you know what I mean though.
Yeah, his especially being a rhythm player, more chugging and just keeping the riff going versus soloing and lead style.
Yeah, and big bends and whatnot.
I saw your rig the other day.
Mhm.
You're running a Boss. Okay, are you running 2 amps, or are you just using the Boss as a head?
I'm just using the Boss as a head. And I'll probably just try scoot that over there. So yeah, so back in like our earlier shows, I used to just like have the combo and mic up the combo and whatnot. But I just got that cab a couple months ago, and I pretty much just been running that amp through the cab. So yeah, pretty much I'm just using that as a head.
Okay, and like that's kind of what I figured. The sound that it produced, like it was really good, really clean, especially for your guys' sound and tone.
Thank you.
It was really good. And along that lines, what kind? I saw your pedal board. What are you running in the pedal board, like to really bring that Honeyfoot sound
Mm-hmm.
into play?
So honestly, it's really all in that amp because
Okay.
on my pedal boards right behind me. I don't think you could see it, but really, I got like a tuner. I got a noise gate. I got a chorus just for like the cleans, like the intro to Self Destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got an overdrive pedal as well. But I don't really use that when I'm playing through the Boss Katana. So really, it's all in the amp.
So you're just using the pedals kind of like as more of a boost than like a true sound.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Because
And
Kirk from Crowbar,
mhm,
he gets a lot of heat for it online, but he does use a metal zone, and he's just using it as a boost. He's got the
yeah,
gain turned down, the distortion's turned down, but he's got the other settings just tuned in perfect for that Crowbar sound, and he's like,
yeah,
it just takes my amp and pushes it right through the
yeah,
wall
really.
and just gives
Yeah,
you
I
that
mean,
like.
whatever sounds good. I mean, who gives a fuck about the what the pedal is and the history behind it? If it makes it sound
Yeah, like I
good,
saw a couple years back, I got to see Municipal Waste for the first time, and it was at the Magic Stick. So no barrier. You're right. I was right up on stage in front of the guitar player, and I'm always myself. It is always fascinated with like your rig rundown, like how everything is, and like all
yeah,
he had was a tuner, an Ibanez Turbo Screamer, and his wireless connector. That was it.
yeah, oh yeah,
And I was like, that's awesome. And then they were on tour with Ghoul, who is is a thrash band, and it was like I remember asking the guitar player while they were setting up, I'm like, "Hey, what's your rig?" And he just turned that like just straight into the amp, old school style. Didn't need
Oh, so you
nothing.
know what amp he was using?
Oh, I think he was using a crate cab, but a Marshall head, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken. But it was like if you ever get a chance to listen to Ghoul, you will definitely hear it. It is their sound is just, and the other guitar player didn't use a pedal either. It was straight into the amp, and it's just raw,
yeah,
unbridled fuel of the this crazy thrash machine that is Ghoul. Like
yeah.
they are
Man. Sometimes
so out there, and I mean, listen to their songs. You literally go from like just this straight speed thrash to all of a sudden, like the bridge is like Beach Boys surfer music. It is the craziest, uh, just the craziest thing.
uh, I'll have
So
to I'll have to check them out.
yeah, dude, check them out. They need to be bigger than what they are. To me, they're one of the most underrated bands, and especially after seeing them live, it's just one of those things that just blew your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to your playing style with Honeyfoot and your inspirations of Eddie Van Halen and the early days of Metallica and and the hair metal, how does that bring your style and sound? Obviously, it makes Honeyfoot, but like, how did you combine all
So
that?
yeah, no, I get you. So what I like about hair metal to me is the catchiness, the hooks of those songs is it's what I really love. These big riffs, these big choruses, and these almost like storytelling guitar solos that are just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself, I try to imply that into my own songs, my own solos that I try and write. I want hooks that in guitar solos that people you know will remember. I want them to be different. I don't want all my guitar riffs to just be chugging on the low string and
Yeah.
pinch harmonics and crap. Like I want it to be more mature, more memorable.
Yeah, and I can say it definitely was like your song Self-Destroyed. The that the ominous slow build up in it, and I had never heard the song all the way through until I saw
Okay.
you guys. I'd only seen like snippets of videos and stuff, but like
Yeah.
that slow ominous build up into just an animal of a song, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, okay, I'm with it, and then all of a sudden it just the song plays, and then it just drops back down to that slow ominous,
Yep.
and I was like, damn, this song's a banger, and then just that
Thank
quick
you.
boom, punch me right in the face
Yep.
with kicking into like this, like kind of like and not like a meme, like that stank face.
Yeah.
After that second little riff that you were doing, the light just like
Yeah.
song's over, man. Then all of a sudden just vulgar display
Yep.
of power punched right to the face.
Yep. And we wrote that, you know, kind of to do that shows, and people think, oh, the song's over, and then bam, it comes right back in for a final fight.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's definitely that like that stank face. Just ooh, yeah. I burnt out all my
yep,
energy in the pit, but now you're coming back, and I got to dig from the bottom to bring it out again.
yep, pretty much.
It was definitely the whole set you guys did was mind blowing, but hearing that
Thank you.
Self-Destroyed was just
Yeah,
like that's the signature. I was like, that is like a distinctive, like knock on wood if like Honeyfoot just ended, but it was like everybody in the Detroit scene is gonna know that's your guys' song. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like there is
yeah.
no
That
way
is,
about it. What you said about like your style, your inspiration, I couldn't be like just earworm it and be like, oh, that sounds like a Metallica song, or that sounds like Megadeth, or
yeah,
is this a Queensryche song, or like no,
yeah.
that's a Honeyfoot song.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, that is definitely my favorite song so far. Even with our newer stuff we've been writing, um, that is probably still my favorite song I wrote. And the way I wrote it is that I had that little clean guitar part and the main riff after it, set together.
Mhm.
But then basically all the other riffs I had for like other songs I wanted to do. And I was like, why don't I just mix all those riffs together to create,
Mhm.
verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, and it worked great.
Now, what when it
It's
speaking of that, what's your like riff writing process? Like, you just like sit there and just start picking around and uh go at it? Because I just watched an episode of the Garza podcast with Darren from TKY, and they started playing TKY's most iconic riff, the '96 Better Beings, and he was showing Chris Garza how to play it, and what Chris Garza never knew, and Chris Garza is a godfather of deathcore guitar. He never knew that riff from '96 Better Beings is just a guitar warm up.
yeah,
It's
that's actually how honestly Life in the Fast Lane from the Eagles was as well.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it can. I will say when I first try and like a discover riff or song, I'm usually just fucking around sometimes. Maybe I try different tunings. You know, different positions on the neck, but um it's kind of random how I just kind of come up with certain things. I don't really sit down and say, "All right, I'm going to make a hardcore song or I'm going to make a,
Mhm.
super slow chuggy song." Sometimes I might have that in mind, um like say if there's a like really cool metal song that I really like, and I'll just say, all right, I really like the vibe, I really like the riff in there. Let me extract extract what makes that song cool a little bit and maybe like make it some of my own.
Yeah, and what really makes it, especially on that self-destroyed track, is you can definitely hear, like I said, your different influences, but you can hear that
Mm-hmm.
that belong like wow, throwing that in there really changes, like throwing the bridge or whatever, and it really changes the song. But it's like your style brings it into its own. It's like,
Yeah.
and then like the rest of your guys' set list, it's like, oh man, you're getting the head bob going, you're getting the neck going, and you're like, oh man, there you go. And then all of a sudden, like the way you guys make the transition to like the next part of the song or the verse or the chorus is just like, whoa, it was so clean and so smooth that
Yeah.
you didn't even really hear it. Like
Yeah.
you do with some songs or some tracks. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you were saying, like, man, this is like slow and chuggy, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we're speeding up, and
Yeah.
it's like, but yeah, like you can hear where you get where you're. What I can hear what you're saying, where you're like, I wrote this riff like 3 years ago for a
Yep.
slam song, but man, if I speed it up just a hair, it's gonna fit perfect right behind this bridge.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
It really complements the composition of the song, and I'm a really big composition guy because, like, okay, sometimes I'll write a riff. It's cool, but it doesn't really invoke a lot of inspiration in me. Like, sure, it's cool, but it could be better, or I can make something that's really better. And one song, or one part of the song has to transition good into another. I'm not going to do
Mhm.
something just because it's cool. I want it to fit the song. I want it to transition easily between parts.
Yeah. Which it's a lot of times it's not easy to do, but
Oh no.
you and the rest of the band really make it work. Now there is
Yeah, no,
one thing that I saw at the show. Uh, I watched you drop your pick a couple times,
yep.
which is it happens to
Yes.
everybody.
It is what it is.
But
You just need to, it happens and you just need to just keep on chugging forward.
yeah, but the way you played, I can't even describe your little flick of a hand technique that you were doing.
Oh yeah, I was like
But
doing like yeah. Yep.
like it goes from a guitar to like you're like playing slap bass all of a sudden, but it worked. It did not like throw off. It was just this crazy strum, but it was like, whoa. Because I'm sitting there watching the pick on the floor, I'm just, is he gonna pick it
Yep.
up? And
Yeah.
but then I look up and you're doing this crazy hand technique. Like, is that something that just comes natural to you, or is it just that mindset of I have to keep the song going?
Pretty much, I have to keep the song going, and luckily it's on like. Luckily, it was during the chorus of a song, so the chords are really ringing out, so I don't need to
Yeah, a little
you know,
slower
you know, yeah,
on your note
palm
progression.
mute
Yeah.
super heavily and all that. But yeah, it's like, oh shit, I need to keep this shit going, and I need to find a good time to when I could pick up the pick again.
Oh, it definitely worked, and it was definitely, to me it seemed like you'd been playing like just that way for years. Like you practiced playing like that specifically. Like you spent hours just dropping a pick every time you strummed or picked a note just so you could learn that
Mhm.
whatever kind of bean flicking technique that you got going on. But it definitely worked. So
Thank you.
what's next for you, and what's next for the band?
So I mean, pretty much me and the band go hand in hand. You know, I really don't go anywhere without the band. The band doesn't really go anywhere without me. So pretty much we're doing a couple shows during the summer and the spring. Our next show is at May 8th with we're playing with Savetta, so I'm really stoked for that gig because we'll finally be playing at the Diesel, which we've been trying to get in there for a little bit. And then we're playing a show up in Saginaw on the 30th of May. And then hopefully we have a couple pretty fucking good bills coming in June, July. We're playing the festival, No Mercy Midwest Festival in July.
Okay.
And yeah, we're just trying to play with as many people as we can. We're just trying to get bills going together, you know, just have a good time. And in terms of like progression music wise for the band, we're finishing up recording a couple songs here in a couple weeks. And so hopefully we'll have our EP out sometime during the summer, hopefully June. At the latest, we would like to make it July, but you know, sometimes stuff happens.
Oh yeah, it definitely does, and especially like you got 4 different people, you all got to be on
Yeah.
the same page. I know technology has come a long way since like when I got into the music scene in the early 2000s, to where like us even having this conversation right now was like that's NASA shit, man. What the hell are you guys
Yeah.
doing? You know, so like technology has definitely made it easier. You can just record something and send it to
Yep.
your drummer and be like, put a beat over this, and then send it to Mike, and
Yeah.
and then have him put a bass line over it.
We're kind of jackasses. Yeah.
But no, I'm excited. I can't wait for the EP to come out. I can't wait to see more of you guys. That's for sure. It's was definitely a even back in like my day of the music scene in the early 2000s, when I was really into it and just everywhere all over the place. There wasn't even anybody like you guys back then.
Thank
Like
you.
if you wanted to hear anything that was close to you guys, you had to just go to a local bar and hear a cover band. You know, just and hope they played Metallica or an Anthrax or a Testament song or something, and it was like,
Yeah.
I sat here for 3 hours to hear somebody play 15 Billy Joel songs. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so like that's one thing I really like about Honeyfoot is it is what's a good way to put it? It is out there. It's
Thank you.
different. It's not something that is just being thrown into we're just gonna make some songs that throw our hat in the ring.
Yeah.
It's definitely like so there's one band that Moofy's first big concert I ever took him to. It was the Metal Blade anniversary tour. It was Cannibal Corpse, Whitechapel, Revocation, and it was Shadow of Intent's first ever tour with signing to Metal Blade. And Shadow of Intent was insane, but when Revocation came on, I don't know what it was about them, but it felt forced.
I
Like
think I know what you're. I think I know what you're
their
talking about.
entire set was just like they were just pounding it in my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I like this. Like on record, they're phenomenal on record. Those guys are literally in a league of their own as far as the death metal scene goes. But it was like, damn, dude, calm the fuck down for a second and play your guitar.
Yeah.
And then we just saw them last year with Necrogoblicon. And I don't know what it was, but they played better. It was definitely a better show.
Nice.
Like not the whole show, but like just them in general was like so much better. Like you almost would have thought like that tour they were on with Whitechapel and Cannibal was like their first ever tour.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably
Like,
have they probably had the jitters and whatnot.
and I was like, you got a bunch of literally a bunch of teenagers that played before you that literally dominated the stage, and like if it wasn't for Whitechapel and Cannibal Corpse, it would have like I bet you a lot of people would have left during Revocation, like after Shadow of Intent played, because they were just so damn dominant on the stage.
Yeah.
But I can get it. I can see jitters. I'm like, you go on tour and you're with like two of Metal Blade's most iconic bands. And then it's like you got Godfathers of death metal and Godfathers of deathcore. And I was like, I gotta go on before them. Oh, thank God I'm not playing afterwards.
Yeah, really. Mm-hmm.
Like watching you guys the other night, it was it Fault and what was it? Wings on
Yeah,
whatever.
so it was Fault that opened, Wind for Wings.
Wings for Wings, that's what it was.
Yeah, and that was it was Fault's first gig and Wind for Wings first gig, and man, I thought they did a great job for their first gigs, man.
I did too. I got a chance to talk to the bass player from Fault a little bit before we left, and I can play a lot of different instruments, but like I love playing the bass. That became my thing eventually, and I kind of told him, I was like, I know it's your first time, man, but loosen up.
Yeah.
If you have to, turn around and stare at the wall, because like they did a couple covers of Peeling Flesh, and I know Peeling Flesh they don't use a bass player, but they optimize a bass pedal in their thing. So I was like, okay, dude, you played the Peeling Flesh songs and you're following right along. But the couple songs that they played that were theirs, like almost like I get it's your first time, but dude, move from the 3 to the 6. You know, give me something funky a little bit there, you know. But no, I thought they did great for like literally being teenagers.
Yeah.
Like, and then that wins wings whatever. Yeah, I was very impressed.
Same here.
By them. I was actually expecting more of just a straight deathcore sound out of them. Like when they were doing their sound check, like whoa, but then like man, that's bringing back Killswitch and some old school metalcore stylings in the music. So
yeah,
it is cool to see the music scene in Metro Detroit, especially in hard rock and heavy metal, coming back, because there was so long around here that it was nothing. Like you had to wait for a big tour to come to town in order to see somebody halfway even worth going to see.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, when you're playing, are you, like we talked about your writing, but like when you're playing, what's your main goal when you play? Like when you're on stage and you're playing, because I've talked to so many people that they're like, I've seen guys get tunnel vision and then they're like mummified.
They become really stiff and they just
And then
so I mean, I would say for me, it's I don't since it's a live show, I don't have to be as tight as like a studio recording. It's live. You're feeling the energy. I want to move around. I
Yeah.
want to bang my head. I don't want to just stand still and look at my guitar. That's it's not what people came to see from us. I don't
No.
I if I was in a third person watching me just standing there looking at my guitar and playing it, I'd be like, move around, dumbass. Like, geez.
Yeah,
But
there is bands out there that like I could honestly I want to see them in concert, but I could literally just like if it was at DTE Pine Knob, I could literally just lay on the hill and close my eyes and just listen.
yeah,
Because they a big like Tool. I would never actually have to see them play. I could literally just lay there in the grass and hear them play.
yeah,
Just because the way they play their style. But then like if I go to a Guar show, especially with everything that's going on, I want to actually watch Guar.
yeah. Dude, it was the same thing. We went, me and Hunter and one of our friends, the three of us, we went to go see Pantera when they came around last year, or Pantera, and
The tribute show,
yeah, the tribute band. Thank you. But we saw Snafu. They did good. Detroit. Local bands. So fuck yeah to them. And then we saw. Then it was Amon Amarth, and I
they're
never
on my
really
bucket
listened
list.
to Amon Amarth before then, but man, they had an excellent, just awesome live show. Honestly, better live show than Pantera that night. I'll say it.
Well, I can believe it, especially with the tribute to the brothers that they're doing. But Amon Amarth is definitely I'm old, man. I don't have many bands left on my bucket list, but they are one of them. Like they bring the thunder every time they play. Every video I've ever seen, everything they bring it. And I think a big part of playing live is, I'm not going to say crowd participation, but like making sure, whether you're the headliner or not, that the crowd is with you.
Exactly. Yep.
Because it's like you were saying, just like watching yourself in the third person, and you feel like you're just standing there. It's like, no, if you move around, there's going to be 5 people over there that are going to start moving. And then 5 people next to them are going to start moving. And it's just a domino effect.
Yeah, it's just a transfer of that energy, man.
Like me and Moofy went to Summer Slaughter last year at Harpo's. That's a horse of another color we'll get into. But
Dude, how about saying, glad you made it back.
Yeah. There was this band there, Gore with a period at the end. I don't know why, but I for some reason feel I have to say the period. A 4-piece band, female led band, and dude, we talked to them at the merch table for like 15 minutes before they had to go in the back and start getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, just the energy they had sitting there talking to us, and now you gotta remember, I'm standing there in a fucking banana, so I look like a psychopath.
Yes.
They were just so laid back and so cool, and it literally transferred from the merch table to the stage.
Yeah.
And then I remember they got done, and I went to go use the bathroom and get something to drink, and the drummer was at the merch table, and he just walked right up to me. He's like, "Dude, what do you think?" And I literally talked to him for another 20 minutes, like, because you found to seek somebody out in the crowd that you talk to. You don't want me to just be like, "Dude, that was killer, that was great." No, you want the real opinion.
Yeah. Nope, I feel that.
And we talked for like another 20 minutes, and it was great.
Yeah, no, a lot of people in local bands and whatnot, they're just so cool, man. They're just great to talk to, because me and Hunter, we went to the Drain show, and it was a fucking awesome show, man. They put on such such a great set, and they are to me, like, Drain is like the masters of putting on like live performance, man. Like the energy
Oh yeah.
of that band is just insane. And then we talked to Sammy, the frontman of Drain, after the show, and literally one of the most wholesome people, one of the coolest people I think you will ever meet. And it's like, man, I wish I was like 1/10 of that wholesomeness and just like down to earth. It really makes you think and reevaluate yourself and just be like, man, this is the type of person, that fans want to interact, if you're just sitting there all quiet and whatnot, no one's really going to, come up and talk to you. They might say, hey, great set, man, but, they'll probably just stay away from you. But if you bring that energy, if you, look like you're having a good time, want to talk to people, people will come up to you and talk to you and connect with you. I think that's something really special.
Like I went to last year the Acacia Train 6 Feet Closer to Hell tour at St. Andrews Hall, and I remember I went downstairs to the basement to get something to drink, and somebody had stopped me. They wanted a picture with the banana, and that's cool. And then all of a sudden, Vincent Bennett, of the singer for the Acacia Strain, just walks right by, like it was nothing. And I'm like, oh, like they're right up there with Whitechapel to me, and it was like that's Vincent. And then he heard me say his name, and he turned around, and he comes up to you. He's like, if we're not crazy after the show, I'll come talk to you. But he was in his they were getting ready to go on stage, so he was in his he was walking around. He had his head up high. You could see he was warming up his throat and getting loose and everything. But he took the time for that split. I didn't get to talk to him afterwards, but it was so cool that he took that split second to just be like, what's up?
It really strengthens that connection between bands and their audience, and that really helps for their growth.
And it really does. And what I was saying about like watching that band Gore and talking to them, it was the same as talking to you guys doing that interview video that we did, and then watching like literally that just like flow of natural of you guys there go onto stage. Like it really translated like, okay, we're gonna have a good show. We're gonna like the first two bands that played, you could definitely see in the nerves that they had, like, okay, but the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with it. Think about when you learn to drive a car, it's the same thing. First time you try to pull out into a road, you're afraid you're going to screw up, but
and
it was definitely so cool to see that.
And it's funny that you say that too, is that I was actually having like this like anxious energy like before we got to the venue. I was like, man, I don't know what's up. But it was actually the interview that we did with you and Moofy that like actually like calmed my nerves down a little bit.
Oh, really cool. That's cool to hear. I've done a lot of different things in my life, and a lot of different extracurricular activities, and I think it's good to have nerves. It's always good to be a little bit anxious.
Exactly.
And to be a little nervous going on, it helps. To me, it helps get the blood flowing, get you going, get that amp up going. But at the same time, I think you do got to find a happy medium between a anxiety, panic attack, freak out, to like working. I'm ready to go, like just locked in on it.
I want to get up there. I want to, no, for sure.
Like
there's actually a couple of stories of Ozzy sometimes having like nervousness getting on stage, and it's like, how can you be nervous, Ozzy? You're fucking Ozzy Osbourne. But it's like, he's a person too,
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, everybody's nervous. I remember watching I watched the interview of Corey Taylor that the talk show host Larry King did, and Corey said they had finally did like this huge show at an arena in Des Moines, Iowa. And Corey had said, he's like, we haven't played Des Moines, Iowa since the year 2002 when Disaster Pieces came out. Not Disaster Pieces, when Iowa came out. And this concert was only just a couple years ago. And he said that's the most nervous he's ever been on stage. All the headlining tours, all this other stuff, this massive international band, and the most nervous you are is to go on in front of your hometown for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, you got these guys
it'll get the best of us.
thousands of hours on stage, endless times on stage, and it's like, but it's almost like I know those people out there.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Like that's Billy. That's Scott's kid. Scott's the pharmacist at the local CVS, or that's Mary's daughter. Mary is the manager of the grocery store. Like, those people, so I could definitely see it being
a little nerve-wracking. Yeah, it really depends who you play in front of. Like, you'll play in front of just random people. Like for example, we played at Mulligan's Pub in Grand Rapids back in January, and I really wasn't that nervous. I was like, all right, these are random ass fucking people. Who cares? I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna kill it. But I think at Parts and Labor, it's like, ooh, I'm gonna be playing in front of all my friends and a couple other people. It's like, man, like, you don't really.
I think what's really cool, especially when you play shows like that, what I saw you guys in was like I said, I thought it was great, but Moofy has been following you guys and seen you guys a few times, and it's like, okay, cool. Moofy's kind of at that place with you guys that he can come up to you without offense and be like, dude, that fucking sucked. What was wrong with you guys tonight? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I wouldn't mind like some of my friends being like, hey, really wasn't that good. Like, like sometimes people would be like, hey, good set, man, you did great. And I'll think about like all the fuck ups I did. I'm like, like it doesn't feel earned. But I also think that's what. But I also think like that drives not only me but the entire band more. We're not content with what we're at right now or what we were at that time. We always want to keep getting better and better and better. And I think that's of course one thing that I think really helps with us is that we're always wanting to grow. We always want good feedback of what we want, and even it's very harsh feedback, you need to hear it because there's a very good quote, and it goes,
you need to hear all levels of criticism, and I think hearing levels of criticism from all different walks of life too, like
exactly.
It's like you get these. The worst thing to me in any music genre is these fucking gatekeepers.
Yep.
That would be like, you know what? They're almost like to me, the way they do it, they're so bad with it. They're like, oh, Honeyfoot's a groove metal band, but they don't sound like Pantera at all. Fuck Honeyfoot. And then they go online and just bash bands and bash people that listen to them for no reason. Like, no, they're not Pantera. They're their own entity.
Yeah.
If I want to listen to Pantera, I'll put on Pantera.
Go and listen to Pantera. Yeah.
And it's, to me, it's the worst thing in the world because people, you like what you like. And that's all that comes down to it. I'm not a fan of, so you brought up Amon Amarth. I always wanted to see them. They came to town with Ghost a couple of years ago at DTE, and I was like, I don't want to pay Ghost prices to see Amon Amarth.
Because they're actually
isn't my thing.
They're actually coming, I want to say next month with Castle Rat and Death Clock.
Yes, I saw that. My only downfall about like me pulling the trigger on going is it's at the Fox.
Oh, is that not a good place?
So I hadn't been to the Fox in like 20 years, and I just got to see. I actually just got to see Lamb of God for the first time at
Yeah,
the Fox. The sound quality is great. The Fox is such a historic theater.
for sure.
It's insane. It's beautiful. The architecture on the inside, just the whole place blows you away. But it was like, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. I was there with my friends. It was my birthday. Movie was with me, but it was like, it just seems weird that we're in the Fox, and it was just weird. It didn't ruin the show or anything. It was just like odd. Like you go next door though to the Fillmore and see a show, and it's like, yeah, the Fillmore's just as iconic as the Fox here in Detroit, but it's like I feel like I'm a little bit more free at the Fillmore to run around and like be a crazy animal and do whatever versus like at the Fox where I feel I got a banana on, man, but I feel like I need a suit and tie.
Yeah, you feel like you want to listen to like, orchestral classical stuff.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm standing there in the pit and I'm like looking up at the ceiling, this award-winning architecture, and I'm like, I feel like I need to find a seat because I feel like Frank Sinatra is about to come on.
Yeah,
like that's the way the atmosphere of the Fox is just, it's different compared to like the Fillmore or the Majestic, Royal Oak, Music Theater, even the Sanctuary and stuff. It was like, it's just different there. That's the only thing that's like stopping me from like, I don't know if I actually want to go to that or not.
But it's like, hey, who knows when they're coming, back to town.
Yeah, they're especially with Amon Amarth, they're a European band, and I've seen so many interviews like when bands come from Europe or whatever, like it was a big part of like Thy Art Is Murder. They barely ever come here anymore. They barely ever go to Europe anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I remember watching an interview with them and with the original drummer Lee Stanton. He was like, it cost $10,000 just to get his drum set from Australia to North America.
Ooh, yeah, no, I have no doubt.
So it's like, he had said in the interview at one time, he just literally, I think the only thing he brought was like his custom hi-hats with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like custom made hi-hats for him, and he bought everything over here and then sold it when they were done.
Yeah.
Just because it was 10 times cheaper to just buy literally everything and then go from there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's all for my questions. Austin, it was great talking to you. I definitely looking forward to seeing Honeyfoot in the future, seeing what the band holds. Really excited about the EP.
Yeah. Because let me tell you, man, this band's a full freight train, and it's chugging down the rails 100 miles an hour, man. So we got
it definitely is, and I'm definitely excited to watch the progress. Especially like you guys are so talented, and it definitely seems that the train picking up steam is definitely well deserved for you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
But all right, man, I will let you go. We'll schedule another one. We'll get more in depth with some other stuff.
Yep, we'll get the whole band together and have an interview there.
There we go. That's the plan. All right, buddy. Have a good one.
All right. Yep. Thanks. You too. Thank you.
Thank you.